Hey everybody, it's Doc and welcome to the channel. So today we have a special project. We have a GR Corolla Circuit Edition in the shop, and it's not just any GR Corolla Circuit Edition, it's mine. And we are going to do, well, let me turn this camera around. So this was a little bit of a surprise. I was very lucky to be able to obtain a Circuit Edition. I was even able to get it at MSRP. I've already proven that I'm probably kind of a bad owner because I've already gotten a dent and a scratch in it. But today we are going to do three things with our project. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to test run and fit our spare tire from Modern Spare. And then we are going to do an installation on our Rally Armor mud flaps, which are hidden in there somewhere. And then the final part is we're going to replace the stock wheels and tires with this beautiful set of Volk wheels, which has Bridgestone run flats on it. And before all you internet critics go crazy out there that I'm going to ruin the ride of the car, trust me, the ride isn't that great to begin with. And second of all, my commute involves a lot of back roads. There are not shoulders out there, and if there are shoulders, they're very muddy. So I need that little bit of extra time to be able to get somewhere so I can find a safe place to pull over to change out my tire, which will be the Modern Spare. So we're going to get right to this and see what we find. I can't emphasize how important it is to try out your emergency equipment before you have an emergency so you make sure that everything works just fine. I've got the jack in place. You know, knowing your jack points is important. The Corolla GR is kind of interesting where it's got these jack points front and rear. The rear one looks very accessible. The front one, I can't even see it when I look under the car, so I am not going to use that. I'm going to use these four side jack points for getting the wheels off and putting on my mud flaps. Just to make sure. Through the discs, rotates properly. That's all we need. The suggestion is that you can do this with the wheel on. I'm doing it with the wheel off, which, you know, for me makes sense because I'm putting new wheels on. I think in general, if you have the capacity to do these with the wheel off, you probably should. So full disclosure, we're on the second wheel, and I've kind of learned a few things along the way, so we're going to kind of adapt these together probably. So to recap, what we need to do is there's going to be a screw that goes into this hole here. These two bolts come out, and then there's a bolt underneath that will come out, which will have this put on it. So. The issue that I'm running into here is that this bracket that they have on the lower part here, let me see if I can find it. What did I do with it? Oh, here it is. Okay. So what they want is, you can see this bracket here. They want a washer or a spacer on top of that, and then there's this they want you to reuse the stock screw, which once you put it through there, there's not enough meat there to do anything. So what I did was I ran down to my shop, looked around. I got a much longer screw. I think it'll go in just fine, and it won't. I'll make sure that there's nothing above it, but plenty of meat on this one. Yeah, much better. Much better. So our next step will be to actually mount the mud flap itself, which should be pretty easy. For the rear, we have to take the entire panel off, which makes things a lot more accessible, although it's a little bit difficult. There's a connector here, there's one here which is a little bit tricky, and I'll show you in just a second, but it looks like a little pop-out plug, but really it's got a tiny Phillips head screw in it that doesn't really like to unscrew. And then now we're looking at the underneath, and as you can see, there's a connector here, here, and here. And then there's also a hole here, which you want to pay attention to because that helps you gain access to a plug that's like this on the inside in order to get it out. Now is a good time to mention that if you have a panel removal tool, it'll make life a lot easier with this job. You can get these at pretty much any automotive store for around $5. So to pop these out, basically you can access it on each side with a flathead screwdriver, although it's a little bit difficult with the screwdriver. And you just got to get it started. Sometimes you mutilate them a little bit, which is unfortunate. There you go. Once you get it started, then you can bring the panel removal tool in and slide that in there. This one does not want to come. Huh. There we go. That one was probably not a good example of how to get these out. Let's try one of these instead. Okay, so again, what you want to do is, you see these edges right here. You can use your screwdriver. Ow! Let's try that again. So you can use the edge of the, pop your screwdriver in. Trying to stay in my light. And then you get it started. Once you get it started, you can get your panel removal tool, pop that in there, and out the plug comes. Do it again. Screwdriver. And that came out really easy. What I was going to show you is this little plug here, as you can notice, has a Phillips head in it. And like I said, it fools you a little bit because it's really difficult to get out, and you can screw on it all day long, but you have to actually apply pressure and pull while you're screwing to get it out. So now the thing that you want to see here is look inside. We have to get that off. And the way we do that, I'm not going to make it easy. Camera in the way. Remember that hole I told you about? Yep. Remember the hole I told you about on the bottom? Oh, there we go. Lost our light, but we got the thing off. So, there's our panel. This is our first bar, which the bottom is going to go down there, but you notice that needs to be bent a little bit. So we're going to give it a little bend just to fit the contour of that. And then what we're going to do is temporarily we're going to repin that so this stays where it needs to be. And we have some clips in here. We have 3 clips, which you can see the tabs here, here, and here. And essentially, they might need to take a screwdriver and widen them just a smidge. There we go. So the clip fits like that. And then one more clip. That's how it's supposed to be. Then the last piece, which has, for whatever reason, has a little bit of foam that you apply to the back of it. And that will go like that. And there's a hole here in the panel that this will go like that. So what we need is we need this little grommet here, and then we have a screw and we need a washer. And those are going to go together like that. Actually, what we'll do instead, I think, is we'll get to fold this up like that. And that's going to go through that. And on like that. Okay. Now we put the Now we're ready to reinstall our panel. The hard part obviously is getting this inner one back in, and of course you have to have everything lined up as well. So okay, we're in the final stretch of this now. All we have to do is fit our mud flap, which goes on like this. We need a washer, little nylock nuts. So these are not going to come off unless you want them to come off. We have her pulled outside, and I think the results are nothing short of astonishing. I love this combination of the gold wheels. I really like the Rally Armor mud flaps. We'll get you a close-up of those. I think the installation on these, the fronts were very easy, and I have them set to the most outward position that they can be because I have a fair amount of gravel in this lane and sometimes on my commute. So it's nice to be able to protect the car from that. The rear part was obviously the harder part, but I think I showed you most of the tricks to be able to do it both effectively and efficiently. Again, man, I really love these wheels. So if you guys like this project, please feel free to throw some comments in the comment section and let me know if you like it or if you hate it. Some people don't like gold wheels with gray cars, but man, I think this works really well. So on that note, you guys have a great day. We'll see you out there.